right. Oh, I need to do this. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the 2 Degrees podcast brought to you by the Play On Foundation. Today, we have a wonderful guest. He hails all the way from my hometown, Toronto, Canada. Wait, which part of Toronto are you from? Are you a Scarborough man?
Nope. Brampton.
All right.
I'm in Brampton.
I'll let it go. We're
Ah.
repping the same place. It's cool. But everybody, you've seen him in a lot of works like The Coroner as well as Slasher, but most popularly known for, most recently, he is in the sequel, or would you call it a spin-off? The spin-off of Ghost Book of Power 2. Everybody, Lovell Adams Gray.
Yo. Thanks for having me, bro.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming out. How you been? Where in the world are you right now?
I'm in New York right now.
Okay.
Actually.
That's home base now, right?
Yeah, basically. We're getting wrapped we're getting locked in. I'm going to season 3.
Yeah.
So I came out here Keanu and I came out here early.
Mm-hmm.
About mid-November.
Mid-November of 2 years ago.
I mean like for right now, like for the holidays, I have in November, and we're gonna be, we're gonna see where things take us.
Nice, congratulations, man.
Thank you so much, bro.
How is so? Does this mean, was this the first time to be like a first time condo owner, homeowner, buyer, or are you just renting for now?
We're just renting for now.
Mm-hmm.
We're just renting for now. But it was definitely our first time living together.
Yeah.
That was like the big incentive. Let's just like be here together.
Yeah. And then, are you choosing New York because that's where you're filming, or is there another reason behind New York?
It's primarily just because that's where we're filming.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Otherwise, I'd probably be back in Toronto.
That's fair. What's the weather like? We drove past New York, I want to say later November. Yeah, later November, early December. We drove past New York, and we would have stayed if it wasn't already getting cold.
When was this? Like just the other day?
Not just the other day. If I could put a date on it, I would say December 1st.
That's the other day, bro.
And
that's the other day.
Well, like in our world now, everything is kind of dictated by what city we're in.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's like, even though you want to say the other day for us would be like Louisiana. New Orleans was the other day for us, as opposed to picking dates and stuff. So no, but because I definitely wanted to drive through. The plan was to drive down earlier, but then the truck broke down, and so we were stuck in Canada just watching the cold come. And then by the time like the truck was fixed and we started making our way down south, New York was just, no, I don't trust like the water system that I've installed in this to deal with minus temperatures for a longer duration of time.
That makes sense. So where are you at now?
We are currently in El Paso, Texas.
Oh man, hot.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Went for a run today. That was great. Anytime I can go for a run in shorts, I'm happy. So, yeah, and just the mountains over here. They're not towering like the Rockies are in Vancouver, but I don't know. There's just something, especially as a movie head, and I loved westerns growing up. Like there's just something very, this is where the westerns were.
Right.
I'm enjoying this for now. And then because I don't have any interviews lined up for the next couple of days, we're gonna stay here for a couple of days, and then check out Spider-Man tomorrow. Do some normal pretend we're on land stuff. So we're gonna see a movie premiere tomorrow.
Hey, you excited for it?
I am. With that though, I know Ryan's huge with the comic book world. Brendan's big on it. Leighton's big on it. Where do you sit on Marvel versus DC?
I'm a DC guy, and
Are
I
you
don't
just
just say
saying
that.
this because you were on the show?
No, it's because I've always liked they naturally go to like a darker place. And I feel like when DC tries to do the lighter thing, it doesn't go off as well because
Hmm.
DC is naturally a darker comic book. Naturally, like, and like,
Was
yes,
it?
yo, you have the Batman villains are all based off of deep psychological traumas, bro. Like, that's deep. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you have,
Okay,
there's some great stuff in the Marvel
but
world too, but like,
that's just
that's
Batman though.
primarily with the X-Men. The
Yeah,
X-Men is probably where it gets deepest, and
yeah.
they're not doing any X-Men right now, so
But
you
then
have
what
all these
about
like,
Daredevil? Daredevil got pretty deep, and then you have like
yeah, they're
Jessica
very deep, and then now look,
Jones.
2 seasons. 2 seasons, you know what I mean? Like, see how it doesn't work for them? Like, so
Mm-hmm.
they gravitate to like the more kid-friendly things, the more like, you know
Mm.
like when we were growing up, like the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was like, looked like he was like 25 or 26, 27.
Yeah,
That was a grown man
yeah.
working at Daily Bugle and stuff. And now the Spider-Man is in high school, so
That's how. But he was
intent,
in high school in the comic books.
but he was 18 in comic books. He's in 10th grade here.
17. He was 17.
He's in 10th grade right now.
That's where he's supposed to be. That's where he was. He was on a school field trip when he got his powers.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like, I just feel like I feel like when we watched our stuff growing up, it was a little like it's just a little different in that, like, I feel like now I'm an adult, so the stuff
Mm.
isn't servicing me anymore, right? It's not for my demographic as much as it used to be. So now I'm just like, okay, well, I'm excited for the new Batman. You
Yeah.
know, I'm excited to see what they do because they always go like dark and crazy with it and stuff, and they
Yeah.
have so many avenues to follow and venture down. And I
When
still have yet to see like
when does the new
that.
Batman come out? That's Robert Pattinson, right?
I, yeah, I have no idea. Yeah, Robert
Mm.
Pattinson. I have no idea. But I'm excited for it.
As
I'm excited
excited
for
as
it.
I
I've been
am
playing The
for
Last
it,
of Us too.
like, did you see the trailer?
Yep.
Like, he's up against all of these bad guys with semi-automatic weapons, and he's just taking shots bold, like to the
Mm-hmm.
chest, just like
Mm-hmm.
he's Superman. But then in my
Mm-hmm.
mind, I'm just watching it, and it's like, does he think that bad guys won't shoot at his face? Because so it's like I'm watching that, and I'm like, I don't believe that. As much as like it's cool, now I'm getting to the logistics of it, where it's like, why are you so confident to get shot in the front and you're just gonna take it? You're not even gonna put your cape up like old Batman does. This guy's just taking it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think that
I
was
believe it a little more is that like the henchmen are scared. That's them shooting like not thinking. If it was like Deadshot or like Deathstroke, then he would shoot directly for the face and not miss.
oh man, that's like now you're giving benefit of a doubt for like the bad guys. They're so
Definitely, bro.
shook
These
that they
henchmen are
can't.
always trash. They're always trash. You're always scared,
Ah,
bro. Like that. I would be too. Like it's a 6 foot tall dude, 6'5" looking dude with a cowl and a cape on in the nighttime. Like
oh man,
you might think it's stupid, but then he's like rinsing your guys and breaking bones, and you're like, oh wait, hold on.
you're dumb. You're dumb. I hope you know this. So before I dive into this, I did something on the last episode, and it was really fun. Where I pulled out my journal because my journal asks these questions. This one's a Q&A, and then what it does
Okay.
is it asks. It's 5 years of questioning. I'm trying to open it to something that doesn't give away my deepest, darkest stuff. But like on this question here, it asks, do you make enough money? And then on each year, you can like put in and look back at the same time. So there's a bit of a reflection on it. So I'm wrapping up on year 2. And I just found it neat just to ask my guest, which is you today, today's journal entry question. And also it gives you time to reflect on it as well. But moderation or excess? What are you into?
Moderation,
Hmm.
for sure.
Yeah.
I consistently say to my trainer and to Kiana, I'm like, I work out so that I can eat.
Yeah, I feel that.
You know, I love dessert and all stuff. So if I'm gonna have moderation and balance, I need to make sure that like, you know, I'm doing something to not earn it, but like, you know,
So then because you're saying like using dessert as an example, so then are you saying dessert is an excess? So you work out so you can have that excess?
I think dessert for me can become an excess.
Hmm.
And there was a time where I was like, I'm gonna cut out sugar completely.
Ooh,
Um, and
how's
and I
how's
and I
that?
and I that was terrible. I lasted maybe like how long did I last? Like half a year?
That's funny.
Like half a year. And I was like, nah, I can't do this no more. Like it wasn't fun. And then I discussed with my friends and I was like,
Hmm.
you know, just you don't have to necessarily cut it out, but you can have it in moderation. You know,
Yeah.
have it as a treat. I was like, all right, so you know, now the portion sizes are smaller, or like I won't have, you know, pie and ice cream every day. I'll have it like
What? Just do it.
maybe
Just
every
be
other
like a little baby.
day. Maybe every on the weekends or something like that. Like sometimes I'll think about it. I'm like, okay, you know,
Hmm.
like if I have I eaten well? Have I gotten my greens and my you know all these nutrients
Yeah.
and vitamins? So that way, if I get some sugar, it's not gonna rinse me.
No, that's fair.
And then yeah,
When was the last time you ate to the point of like you're gonna, like when you drink too much and then the next day you're like, oh, I'm never gonna do it again. When was the last time you ate to the point of, oh, I'm never gonna eat that much again?
bro. Like honestly, I've been getting better with my eating habits.
Hmm.
Because I was going through a period of time where like everything I would eat would feel like it was too much.
Hmm.
So when I was a kid, I used to eat like everything all the time. Like I would Thanksgiving dinner, I would like eat and then like go back for seconds, you know, and go back
Yeah.
for thirds. And it's like I'm
Yeah.
trying to eat everything. But now it's like one plate, and like I'm maybe halfway done. I'm like I'm getting full, but I need to finish this plate. Like ego
Hmm.
now. I would say probably like sometime around after Thanksgiving, where I was like,
Okay.
okay, like I know for myself, like as soon as I was like, when I come home and I come back, I mean, when I come back to New York,
Hmm.
I can get back onto my patterns.
Gotcha.
Um, you know, the portion when I make myself food, I can portion it out better for myself.
Yeah.
When you know, um, and all that. So I say the last time I ate too much was probably like Thanksgiving. I was mad full on Thanksgiving, like our Thanksgiving, not American Thanksgiving. I was mad full. I had like so much food, and then
Hmm.
I had dessert. I had two pieces of pie. Like one, I had to have the pumpkin, and I had to have the apple. So I
You
was just
gotta
like,
have you gotta have pumpkin.
you know,
That's like, I think I put Monique on that one too, where I made sure to buy Thanksgiving a pumpkin pie just because
mm,
that's my thing. Like
mm-hmm,
as much as I don't celebrate Thanksgiving, like I'm not gonna make a big deal out of it. I'm not gonna save that one day to make my list of gratitude and da 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 and focus on that just because of what Thanksgiving means to my indigenous friends. I'm just like,
mm-hmm.
I can't, but I will always indulge in some pumpkin pie just because it's pumpkin pie and stores don't choose not to carry it every other day of the year except on Thanksgiving. So I definitely
There's,
indulge.
yep. No, I feel that 100%. And what I love about, I was actually in the States for the American Thanksgiving, and I got
Mm.
to have sweet potato pie.
Ooh,
And, you know, I was just like,
yeah,
yeah, this is where I
yeah.
need to be. It's really just the
uh,
pies, bro.
it's the pies. It's the pies, but at the same time, like I'll also opt for the. It's another pie, the mac pie. That's also
Yep.
as yeah. It's all pie. Everything is in casserole dishes, and yeah. Where were we for Thanksgiving? We were in No, we were in Washington. We were in Washington D.C. for Thanksgiving. Yeah. And then we just, because we got in late and everything was closed, we just ended up having Chinese food for American Thanksgiving. But made it a point to get pie as well on the way. So it was Chinese food and pumpkin pie. That's what real Thanksgiving is all about.
Yes,
Uh,
sir.
all right, Mr. Adams Gray. I have and I wanted to ask this all day, and just because it's essential for life, but even more so it's essential for actors and actors that are not even actors, but artists as well. But the topic of balance and how you stay balanced where you don't let things get away from you, because you went it looked like you went straight from slasher to corner to power.
Mhm.
How did you balance that out? Did you just like what was the routine? What was waking up and just knowing that it's work now and tomorrow and the next day? How did you balance that all out?
You know, I know it may seem like those were like back to back to back, but it definitely was a long period of time between all three. Like at least like months between them, maybe a year.
Okay.
Um, I had a year where it was 2019, I think. Yeah, 2019. The majority of the year, I maybe worked once that year, and
Mm.
then right before the year ended, I booked Power Book 2 Ghost, and I think God gives me the perfect amount of time to like balance and decompress and digest my former role before I go into the next one.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, I was able to like I had a lot of time to digest, um, a lot of time to decompose and like my favorite thing to do is like decompress by like playing video games or like hanging out with Kiana, watching a movie or watching some shows, just like doing something that doesn't require, you know, all it asks is to be of us is to be open,
Hmm.
you know, and to be present and to enjoy. Whereas like, the work demands so much of us as artists, right? It demands us to be present, be open, to be engaged, to be there, to be like, informed of to play, to admit how you're feeling, all these kind of things. But like when you're watching a show, when you're playing games, you're just like also enjoying a narrative where you can just, if it makes you cry, it makes you cry, but like you don't have to capture it on camera.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So now, do you have like a routine? So when season one finished, do you, and let's say going back to corner when that wrapped, do you have a routine like, okay, I'm gonna go to this city, or I'm going to just focus on this for 7 days and like go into my man cave and not come out? What's your routine other than just breathing and slowing down when the cameras are off?
I think the routine is definitely the man cave. I don't have an exact man cave yet, but I'm definitely trying to build that one day.
Yeah.
Um, and have like, and just have things that like I thoroughly enjoy, and the music and the vibes and the games and the whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be my routine. Like if I come home, like especially after like shooting a day on Ghost, I'll come
Mm-hmm.
home. Like people won't often see me. Like the cast members would be like, "Yo, we went out. Like, where were you?" I'm like, I went home. I don't know how
Yeah.
you guys go out after work. We've been up since 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm trying to go home.
Yeah.
I chill in the game, I play, or I go to sleep. You know what I mean? Like,
Mm.
um, there's nothing like set tired. Like it's a different kind of tired. Like there's a tired where you're working manual labor all day and like your body is tired and
Yeah.
you're like, oh nah, like I need to just kick up and like, But then there's a tired where like you got makeup on your eyes all day. And so that just like is like weighing down your eyes, and all of a sudden you take it off, you're like, I can sleep immediately.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. No,
There's no amount of like stimulus that will keep me awake at this point.
Yeah, as soon as for me it's the hot towel. As soon as the hot towel hits my face, that's just
knocked out. Out like a baby. Like you know, it's
yeah.
I definitely like, you know, yeah, I definitely think like I also, you know, read my scripture and have that as well as a part of like the decompressor. I try to make sure that I read it before I go to bed, because you know it's a nice thing to receive into your spirit before you go to sleep. And you don't want to be playing The Last of Us 2 and then trying to sleep right after that, because that's not it. That's not it at all.
That's fair.
I tried that last night. Not a good idea.
So now with video games, because I was talking with Brendan a couple weeks back, and he has his Twitch channel now.
Mm-hmm.
Are you also into gaming that much where you're gonna get into the Twitch world?
Yo, bro, I might as well, man. The way I be gaming out here, might as well get paid for it. Damn.
Yeah,
like,
no, fair.
I'm a completionist, so I'll be playing this game so I get 100% trophies, so I get all the things, so I do all the things. Like I take a long time to play these games, but I'm like, it might as well like bring somebody else in my journey.
Yeah,
and you know, make money while doing it. Like I endeavor to finish The Last of Us 2. I'm almost done, and then go back and play it in grounded mode, with permadeath on.
Explain that all to me. Like, what are this is new to me in terms of what all these terms are. Video game terms are. So you say you're gonna finish the game, but then it's not done?
It's done, like the story's done, but you can play the game again and get like, you know, find a way to get the collectibles you missed, or like challenge yourself, play the game on extra hard mode, and then like also add permadeath. So like, for example, there's 3 different options of permadeath in this game, because this game is like very realistic. Like you have to like find supplies in the world to make your items, and like people are like looking after you, and you know, if you get shot, you get shot. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's all this like very hyper realistic type of gaming, you know?
Yeah.
And the problem is you could play it the normal way, which is like a regular video game where you get shot a bunch of times and like then you might die. Or there's the grounded mode where supplies are extremely scarce, and then you can add permadeath onto that, which is like the first option is that you die. If you die 3 lives, if you die 3 times, then you have to start the level all over again. There's you die once and you get to start the level all over again. And then there's the third one, which is what I'm going to do, which is you die, that's it.
What do you mean that's it?
Like if you die in the game, no matter where you are in the game, no matter how many times you saved, you're going back to the beginning of the game.
Why would you do that?
I know, especially how hard this game is. Freaking hard. I'm playing it on hard mode, and I've died so many times. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this on grounded. Like, I don't know how I'm going to do this.
Are you playing against computer, or are you playing against other people?
It's the computer. The computer's crazy, very aggressive.
Yeah.
Everything's shaky, bro. I don't know. Like, I don't know if I'm going to do it. Actually, it's going to stress me to high hell.
I think that sounds fun. Then if it's like you're going to get into it and do a Twitch version of it where it's like, that'd be interesting to see how many times you die and then your reaction each time you die. Now
it's like, here we are. It's week 15. I'm still trying to play this game from the beginning. I keep dying at this one part.
Damn. That's intense. But at the same time, that's what do you call it? That's content for you right there.
Yeah, for real, man. I'm like, I don't see anybody else doing this.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why. That makes sense. So then at the rate you're going with being able to die and then just respawn, how long would that take you to finish?
I've beaten the game, like the game. I feel like I'm close to the end. So, or at least like somewhere near the end, like probably like 4 hours left, I would say. It seems like, I don't know where the story's going. I don't know.
4 hours left. So, but how many hours did you already put in?
Like 40.
Interesting.
But that's because like I'll pause the game and put my controller down and go do something else. You know, I'll just leave the game on all the time. I know it's bad. I know it's bad, but like, it's sometimes you do it out of habit. Sometimes it's like out of, you know, I wanted to go make some cereal real quick, and then I got caught up making the cereal, and I had to go do something else. And then lo and behold, it's been an hour, and your game's been on pause for an hour. You know?
Yeah. What's the longest you've played continuously?
It's a good question. I feel like I've played all day one time, like, or if not all day, because I was just playing Final Fantasy VII, the remake.
Damn.
And I feel like I jumped on that game and played that game all day. Like, no, like from I will get on it from the morning, and then like it would be like evening, and I'm like nighttime, and then I'm still, you know, on these games.
I remember back in the day, like that was me. I would just, if it wasn't a school day, I'm just gonna get my snacks, get my pop, put it all in front of me, and just play. And it was in the basement too, so like I wouldn't feel the day go by. I'd only realize the day's gone by after it's like, okay, I gotta use the bathroom. Let me pause real quick, go upstairs, and then I'll just see it's dark outside. It's like, oh,
yep,
okay, yeah,
yep.
That's why I don't want to get back into video games, because I feel like that's gonna be the rabbit hole that I'm gonna go down.
But you know what? Like, the way games are going these days, they're like making them really good, and they're making them really quality. And like every game that comes out is like the next masterpiece, whatever, blah, blah, blah. But I feel like the older, like I'm getting older, and I'm just like, I might put these games down. Like I might put these games down. I don't know. Like, see if what happens if I focus my energy somewhere else. You know what I
mean? With focusing your energy somewhere else, with BDB, you have writers, you have directors, all of you guys are actors. Where do you see your non-actor self, or are you just gonna be straight actor for it?
I'm definitely entering into the world of writing and directing. That's something I want to do. And This is funny. You asked me 2 years ago, I would have said hell no.
Yeah.
You know, but I definitely want to get into directing. I feel like I love acting. I love being in front of the camera and being able to tell stories that way. And I think that me also getting a hand in directing would help me understand the acting process even deeper.
Nice.
Same with writing, right? Understanding structure, understanding, you know, what makes more sense for the story, how to tell a full narrative. You know, like Mahershala Ali was saying that, like the movie that he has coming out soon. He was saying that this is his first lead, right? And he's such a seasoned veteran and such a talented artist.
Wait,
and
what?
He has a movie coming out. What's the name of the movie, bro? It's on Apple TV.
But what do you mean it's his first lead?
It's his first lead. Like, technically, he's leading the film. The film is about his character, and he makes a clone of himself, and it's his first lead. He doesn't consider, like, he considers like him doing Green Book like a co-lead.
So
Swan Song.
That was
the
Vigo's.
film is called Swan Song.
So, but then for Green Book, he felt he was supporting in that.
I don't want to put words in his mouth at all, but he did win the Oscar for supporting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
that's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of it too now, where it's like, yeah, he doesn't really have. But then you have True Detectives, but would that be considered a show then?
It would, yeah, a show. I think mainly like, you know, film. and even True Detective. I mean, he was amazing in True Detective too. Oh my gosh. I love that. I love that one. That was a very interesting, like, third season. And very beautiful. But I say all that to say that, like, it's a surprise where, like, even at Mahershala Ali's level in his career, he still has so much to learn, and he still has these challenges to overcome and to take on, right? And to embody and you know, I'm sure that he's used this whole time with him, you know, showing up in a film and slapping that role and going about his business. He's used all that time to learn and absorb, you know, and now it shows, because now he's shining in Swan Song.
Yeah, no, Definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, no, movies just for me, I like movies because it's a lot shorter time period from getting from the beginning to the end.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if it's a show, you kind of have to sit through and just not necessarily tough it out, but you're because you're being entertained through it all. But like, there's just so much more time you need to invest into it when
Mm-hmm.
I'm eager to just get on to the next story.
For sure. No, I totally feel that, bro.
Yeah.
I totally. It's like, especially like if you're watching a show that like maybe it's a limited series or like, you know, it's going for 10 episodes, but like each episode's an hour long.
Mm.
So there you go. You're not putting in 10, you know, 10 hours
Yeah.
into a narrative. And like we don't like really think about the time we're putting into that.
Yeah.
But if I were to tell you that I played video games for 10 hours straight, you know what I mean? You're like, oh, what?
Yeah.
How do
Yeah.
you binge
No,
watch a show?
that's the thing though. For me, I just do it.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I see a show comes out and I know that I'm going to like it, I don't want to separate it. Like I know people who will watch an episode a day. I know people who will just watch 2 episodes a day. I know people who will watch half an episode a day. And I'm like, what? Don't
What
you?
is the point?
All the information's there. What? Don't you just want to watch it all and just get it over with? So like for me, when it comes to binging, that's like where my head's at. Where it's this is essentially a 10-hour long movie. I'm
Yeah.
going to watch it all. So
Oh man. I got that ADD in me, man. I don't have that attention span like you do.
mm. No, that's fair. That's fair.
I'm gonna be building to that kind of discipline though.
Fair. So I want to talk to you about Drew.
Yeah, man. Let's talk.
Just because I'm living in this truck and all my data is going to now this podcast as well as every now and then if I'm going to see if Netflix drops a new movie that I want to see and we're in the middle of nowhere and there's no Wi-Fi, then I'll drop some data on that.
Mm-hmm.
But I wanna hear it in terms of how you developed as an actor throughout season one. So from when you booked it to when they wrapped to the announcing of season two. Tell me about that journey.
When I booked it, I went on as a young kid from Toronto on an American show based in New York, having to embody a piece of New York.
Mm.
So I was terrified. I was unsure. I was like, do I even belong here? There were 2 other Canadians on the show at the time, and it didn't work out. All I know is that like we showed up for episode 4, and it was two different actors playing those roles, and I was like, oh damn.
Oh damn.
And so it got put me in my head because I was like, what if it's just the Canadian people can't, you know, that something's not right with them? And I was like, oh, is that gonna be me too? You know what I mean? And then we went out to this like I think it was a Power finale party, and Courtney, I said what up to her, and she's like, you're a really good fucking actor.
Wow.
And I was like, and that's the showrunner saying that to me. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm good. But my problem is I'm like, I have to fight this all the time where like, and I've discussed this with Kiana before too. Like I fight complacency a lot. And even when I was in my acting class and like, I would get a quote unquote good note or like a note that makes you feel good about yourself, makes your ego feel good. I would stop working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then so when she said that to me, I was like, oh no, I don't even want to hear that because I don't want to stop working. Right. And then so maybe that's a good thing because it kept me working. But at the same time, it's also important to receive when someone gives you a compliment.
Yeah.
And breathe that in. And I think I did breathe it in that day, but I think fear just set in afterwards where I was like, oh no, now I have to keep her impressed, or now if she's not crying to a scene I did, then I'm not doing good work. You know what I mean? Whatever happened. So that was an interesting journey. When we finished season 1, I felt really good, felt really strong. When they announced season 2 and we started going back to season 2, I stepped into a different level of confidence in myself. Because then I was like, okay, there's familiarity here now. I'm a little bit more comfortable. My character story matters, you know. So now I get to like actually like use my voice. And so now, even as I'm watching my my work back, I'm noticing more opinion. I'm noticing more, just a more like groundedness in Drew. You know, a more like sat in. Nice. And I think it's gonna be even deeper for season 3. I'm really excited for that.
Yeah.
But I think like overall, growing as an actor, I've grown in my confidence. And that it's okay to have ideas. And sometimes you don't gotta ask permission for those ideas. You can just do the idea, do the thing. If it don't work, it don't work. But it's like not being afraid to fail. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's the scariest place to be as an artist sometimes, but it's also the most fulfilling because like you just do something.
Yeah.
Just do something. Make a choice, right? Just go do something. Have fun with it, whatever the impulse is, whatever. And then the director goes, oh, no, don't do that. And then as people, right, we're like, that's the worst thing you want to hear, right? It's the scariest. Your ego jumps up, your heart's pounding. Oh no, I ruined the whole production. I'm wasting time. Da, 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 da. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Freaking out. But it's just a collaboration.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
It's just the director like communicating to you in a very clear, concise way. Like we can find another choice. Right. And let's like work together to how to navigate that. So
yeah.
You know, going into season 3 and even going into season 2, I was a lot more comfortable with that too.
You brought up a interesting fear that a lot of actors consider too, where it's like the concept of wasting money on a shot. And it's like the way I deal with that is I remember that Keanu Reeves clip in The Matrix, the blooper. I don't know if you've seen that, where it's where he's up against the pillar, has the guns, and he has to run out to the side after like when everybody else is reloading. So you have all the squibs going off and you hear explosions happening, and then you hear the director yell, run. Keanu tries to get up and turn, and he just slips. And it's like they did another take.
Yeah.
So when it comes to thinking where it's like, oh man, I'm fucking up my lines, or oh, I shouldn't have tried that crazy choice, I just think back to that video. I'm like, we can do it again. It's okay. We're not wasting that much money.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, man. So
I'm also learning that a note for another actor or a compliment for another actor does not mean that it takes away from anything from your work or my work, you know? And
yeah.
Yeah. It's annoying though.
Give me an example.
Like if if we're doing a scene together or if I'm in a scene or I'm watching a scene to be done and director goes, oh man, that was fantastic. So amazing. Da, 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 all these kind of things. And then now it's my scene, my turn to go up and do a scene, whatever, da, da, da. And I don't get none of that. Of course, the ego jumps up, right?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like a micro version of like this other person's success does not mean my failure.
I get that.
But sometimes it can feel like that, where it's like you're going to work on a thing, and if you're not getting that reaction or you're not getting that attention, you're not getting that love, you're like, oh, I must be shit then. You know? And I think that's just the ego jumping up, you know?
I've learned to take moving on as a compliment. Where it's like, yeah, when they'll give praise to another actor and then turn around and it's on you, and then after they do it, and it's like, all right, moving on. Like for me, that's relief. That's like, okay, cool. I think I did whatever they needed me to do, and yeah, I agree. Let's move on.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh man. Now
I always feel weird when a director asks me if I'm good with that take. I'm like, are you good with the take? Like, asking me, like, did we get what you needed? Like, are you gonna be able to cut and everything around it? What do you want to do? You want to do something different? Like, I feel good about it.
Do you watch playback? Are you one to watch playback?
I think the only instance where I watched playback this season was when we're doing some fight scenes. I was able to watch some playback because it was just playing and on one of the monitors. And I was like, we got to see the fight. So it was nice because I got to see like what my body was doing, how it was coming off, how it's translating and stuff. Because sometimes, I don't know if you ever feel like this, but sometimes like you feel like you're doing something and then you look at it and you're like, oh, my body, why does my body look like that? Like, why am I doing why am I throwing a punch like that? Or why is my arm down or my shoulder up or what? You know what I mean? Whatever. Yeah. So it's nice to watch that back and be like, okay, it translates well, blah, blah, blah. But in terms of like primarily like dramatic scenes, I don't watch a lot of playback, mostly because like between takes, we either go back to our like holding area and just chill and talk and vibe, or we stay back to just do it again and lock in, you know? So like, it's not really like a go back to the director thing, be like, yo, how was that? Let me see it.
So what would you say then what insecurities come up when a director says, are you okay with that take? Like, what goes through your head?
I think you're asking me to make a decision when I've already made a decision. And it's like with my dad, when I was a kid, my dad used to always make me do my multiplication tables. And he would always ask me at the end, like he would always test me, like, did you do your timetable today? And I was, yeah. He's like, all right, what's 6 times 7? And I gotta be like, I gotta be quick with it. Like, it wasn't like, no, if I went too much, too long, he's like, go back and learn it again. You don't know it, you know?
Yeah.
And then he would, just to make it even deeper and twist the knife a little bit, if I did get it quick, right? 6 times 7, boom, you know? And I'm like, and then I give him the answer and he goes, are you sure?
Damn.
That, are you sure? Now, because I'm older, I'm like, I don't know. You know? And I think, you know, I'm about to be 30, God willing, in a couple months. And I think like stepping into that new era, a new decade, I guess, for myself is going to be like locking in on surety for myself, you know, walking in faith and locking in on surety. So when I make a decision or when a decision is being made, that I can actually be like, yes, you know, and be firm and solid in that. Yeah. And not from a place of desperation or of like, we don't have no time, but just from a place of like, yes, I'm sure, you know, because that jumps up for me a lot. It's like indecision. And I feel like the work for me is like, when I do, you know, make a decision, right? Make a choice as an actor in a scene, right? And speak and do this scene or whatever, and do these lines and blah, blah, blah. And then to be asked, am I good with that? Is like to be asked, are you sure?
Yeah.
And so sometimes, are you sure can sound like, are you sure you want to do that? Or are you sure you want to leave us with that?
Yeah.
I got one where the director said, okay, we can work with that. And I was like, good Lord. That was a spiritual challenge for me. I was like, I need to go and just not read into this, not, you know, dig behind the meaning, just saying like, we can work with that because we got some good, you know, like take it as a positive, not like, oh man, whatever he gave us is trash, but we can cut around it. Like, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? So did you
end up watching that scene? And then
not really, no. Okay. I didn't watch that footage back. We were told we didn't have access to playback.
No, but then like, so it hasn't come out yet.
No, that hasn't come out yet.
I'm looking forward to when you watch it. Like, give me a shout and just let me know if they're like, oh yeah, I get what they were saying on that one.
Yeah.
That's funny.
For sure, bro. For sure.
That should be like we should figure out, just write down all these ideas, these what would you call them, like backhanded compliments on set type thing, and just
Um,
like
I don't
make
know if they're
something of that?
I don't know if they're backhanded compliments or this
Mm.
are if our fear and anxiety as actors,
Yeah,
takes the better of us.
where
Because
we
when a director,
we interpret something completely different.
but I think that's because we're also taking our Hollywood navigation onto set. It doesn't belong there,
Yeah,
right? For example, like you're told to navigate certain like places for networking and all that kind of stuff. You're told to like take everything you hear with a grain of salt. They're probably drunk.
yeah,
You're probably not gonna make a business deal with this person at a TIFF celebration party. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like all those things. So you
yeah.
take everything with a grain of salt, you read into everything, or you don't take everything as seriously. And so then when you get to work, that doesn't apply anymore. But I
Mm.
mean, maybe it could apply depending on the environment. But every person has to give you what they give you, and you have to read every person as an individual, not as a.
Say that one more time.
Every person has to be able to give you what they give you,
Every
right?
person has to be able to give you what they give you. Hmm.
Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is we have to give people the opportunity to show us who they are before we group them into a group of people
Yeah,
just based on, their reputation or what we've heard or what, who they associate themselves with or whatever have you, know what I mean?
yeah,
Like this director could very well have meant like, oh yeah, I like that a lot. And just was like, yeah, we could work with that. Like that was his way of like vibing with me, you know?
yeah, yeah,
And I owe it to him to take it as such.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Give people the, that the positive response and the positive, just this director and people in general have given me no reason to think any malicious thought of them and that they're looking at me in a malicious way. So why would I take that information as malicious?
That's
So
right.
I know that when I receive it like that, it's probably just me. It's probably just me, my ego, my insecurities jumping up all over my chest, and making me feel like, I'm not doing enough work and and all those kind of things. Even though you spent like 80 years running the lines and running the script, and
Yeah,
you figured out this backstory and this backstory, you know exactly where your parents are, where they're from, how old they were when they passed, all these things. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
you're like, oh, I didn't get my why did he have a nervous twitch in his foot? See, I didn't do enough work.
Where did that come from?
Where did that come from?
Yeah, no, like it's funny having to develop that kind of, what's the word, neurosis, when it comes to needing to break down and flush out our characters when we first start acting, and then to just see it all come together when we're on a project. And I don't know if this is going to come out the way I want it to sound, because we're still putting in residual work, but it feels like, and it looks like from the outside, from other people looking in, like it looks like we're putting in less work than we used to. Does that make any sense, or does that resonate in any capacity? Because it's like for example, Monique is helping me with like auditions and stuff on the road, and then I annotate my scripts. Whereas back in the day, those annotations would equal dialogue and extra words, and like the page would be, there would be more notes on a page than the dialogue itself.
Right.
Whereas now I'll just put like one line, and that in my mind equates to all of the words that I would have put on. So it's
I
like
think I think I think that's just comes with mastery. Ease comes with mastery.
Yeah.
And now that like, okay, this means this for me. And also I think that like the human experience is universal, right? No matter what you are, no matter where you come from. Like there's obviously nuanced experience for sure, but pain is pain. We all feel pain. We all feel joy. We all feel sorrow. And, I think that like you get to a point where, I'm not saying that you know this character already, but it becomes quicker and easier to digest this character, to absorb this character, and to become a vessel for this character. So you no longer feel the need to write down all the things you're thinking because you're already thinking them.
Yeah.
And I think that when our body is naturally not doing something anymore, and we fight ourselves to then do that thing, I think that's from a place of fear. You know?
Yeah.
Whether it be like from a place of like, oh, well, I'm not, if I don't do this much work, I'm only going to put in much, like I'm only putting in as much as I'm going to get out of it. Right. So if I don't write down every single word to every single thing, then if I don't get this role, it's my own fault. Where it really is like, no, you're putting ease and mastery into yourself. And this character passes through you. And, you know, that's our favorite actors operate from a place of ease. Our favorite actors operate. That's why when you watch, like, you name it, Denzel, Meryl Streep, you know, whoever, their voices are relaxed. Their bodies are relaxed. They're almost rubbery in the way they move, right? There's relaxation in them. And there's for the most part, a lack of pushing, and just trying to treat themselves with ease and also bring ease to the work.
Yeah. Who is the first actor you just said?
I said Denzel.
Denzel. Does he have a last name?
Denzel Washington.
Nope. Haven't heard of that guy.
It's so funny you said that, because I was telling my friend the other day, I'm like, you can't say, like, because we were talking about another artist and they only go by like one name, and I was like, I don't know who you're talking about when you say this name.
Yeah.
But like, you don't call Denzel, you call him Denzel Washington.
Yeah.
And there I go, just doing exactly that.
Yeah. No, but but there's no other Denzel. So it's like,
I mean, there's a couple of things. There's Denzel Whitaker, who is who's a younger artist, who is you know, a really talented artist and stuff.
But then in regards to film, I think people have earned that degree of, you've been in it this long, you don't need the last name anymore. Like, I think there's a point where it's either that happens or your name just becomes so household as a first and last name that it just flows all together, where first name that pops in my head is like George Clooney or Brad Pitt. You need both names. But then, like, for Denzel, with the amount of work that he's put in, and at the time too, being the only Denzel on the scene, I think garnered him being able to talk film, and then somebody just dropped Denzel and everybody would be like, yeah, oh, that guy, I know that. Yeah.
I think you're right. I think the same goes for Meryl. There's only one Meryl.
Yeah. It just,
you know,
but for her, I think, like, there's just a grace that comes with her name, where it's like, when you add the last name, it just makes Meryl seem more elegant in a sense. That's my opinion, because I'll always say Meryl Streep, even though I don't need to say Meryl Streep, and I could just say Meryl. But Meryl Streep for me.
What about Viola Davis? You say Viola Davis or you say Viola?
I like Viola Davis. But then it's like, I can't, because I've spoken about Viola before, but then I wouldn't just say Viola. I'd always say Viola Davis.
Right. And you know what? It's the arrogance of me acting like I know these people. You're addressing them by first name like I'm best friends with these people.
I think that means you've reduced your amount of degrees of separation. I think that's what it is.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Like, you're now 2 degrees away from Denzel, as opposed to 3 years ago, you would have used his whole name in his entirety and probably even called him Mr.
Mr. Washington.
Mr. Washington. Before we go, I have one more question too that I was curious about in regards to the show. Did it feel like you were coming onto a new show, or did it feel like you were coming onto a show that's already been established?
You know, as weird as it is to say, it kind of felt like both because everybody for the most part was new, right? The only people that continued were like Tariq, Naturi, so Michael Rainey, Naturi, and Tommy, and just a handful of people that like made it from, and like Cooper Sachs, Payne, but a few people that made it over. So like you're going in with a bunch of new people. You know what I mean? Everybody's new. So you're like, oh, okay. There's like, there's been relationships and friendships that have already been established, but at the same time, you feel like you can be a part of that. You know? Whereas like if I was going on to season 5 of the show, I'd be like,
because like that's the reason why I ask is like I've joined shows where it's a different vibe where you have to come in at a higher degree of professionalism when you're coming on to a show, I find, because you kind of have to show the rest of the cast that you weren't a mistake. I don't know if this is my insecurities coming out now or if other actors feel this, but like when you come onto a new show, there's that opportunity to build rapport through friendliness versus professionalism. And then that's something that goes further on where in like the 10th season, you can look back on and laugh about because you were friends. You weren't just colleagues, work colleagues. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, man.
No, that's really cool, man. Super proud of you. Like that's it's so funny. Like especially this book, how it just puts everything into perspective through time, where so much can happen in a year, and even so much more can happen in 2 years. And it's like we just think it's another year, where in reality it's an exponential growth. So seeing all of you guys, seeing my own journey as well, like it's just fascinating to think where I was last year compared to now, and then compared to the year before. So it's just constantly growing. But other than that, one last question: are you gonna make your way back to the stage anytime soon? Because you got that covered as well. You're a stage guy.
God willing, man. Like after we wrap this 3rd season, I would love to do a play. I would love to do a play. I actually got asked to audition for this play that's being done at Soul Pepper, and I had to decline it because it's conflicting with the shoot dates. And I was like, it's exactly what I want though.
Yeah.
Like ideally, I'd want to do a season of the show and then in between work on something substantial, like a play for like a month and some change, or 2 months or 3 months, and or a film. You know what I mean? In between. And God willing, I lead that film, even better. But again, Mahershala Ali is such a great experience, an inspiration, because I did not know the Swan Song is considered his first lead. So like, for me, that takes a little bit of pressure off, but also just like it's so inspiring because to see his excitement about it and to see like his humility in that was like, yes,
that's fair.
Now, and I'm getting at my team here in New York. I'm like, put me on Broadway.
That'd be so dope. That'd be really cool. Now,
so exciting.
Just in regards to the work, I know there's no comparing stage to screen, but in regards to the physical work, would you, let's say you're going from season 3, you have a gap, and then into another season, God willing, like, do you need time to rest, or would you go into a stage play if it fell into that pocket?
I would certainly, the way I feel right now, I'd certainly go into a stage play right afterwards. And if we go back into a season, God willing, we go back to a season 4, then I'll be like charged up for it, you know?
Yeah.
I've had enough, especially with COVID and stuff and all the shutdowns, I've had enough time to sit down and like hang out still, and relax and rest and all that kind of stuff, you know, like,
That's
so me now, I'm just like, I'm ready to work, you know, I'm ready to work and take my spot, so to speak.
Fair. Take it, man. Bro, you're there. You're doing it. You're taking it by storm. And it's so fucking fantastic to see. And yeah, so I just want to say you're an inspiration and you're keeping it going. So thank you for that.
You're always so like such a peaceful presence. And I really appreciate that, man. You're so genuine and so kind. Yes. And just I appreciate that, bro. Like the joy in your spirit shines through a lot.
Damn. Wow. Thank you for that.
So you can't see me, but
I can't see you, but you're crying, right? Is that it? You got tears coming out. Oh, appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. And yeah, like we'll see how long these adventures on the road last and how long this podcast is gonna last. But let's bring you back sometime. Let's see if anything comes up. But
well, you take, my guy.
Yeah, no, always. Especially like it's fucking scary being in the middle of nowhere sometimes and just like, okay, we're gonna pull over and sleep. Like, but let's close this out. Everybody that's listening, we have Lovell Adams Gray, and this is the 2 Degrees Podcast brought to you by the Play On Foundation. Thank you all for tuning in. And I guess one thing that I haven't been doing for the last few episodes when I close it out is telling people to subscribe. So, hey, subscribe. I guess that's a thing. That's something that I have to say now. But once again, Lovell, thank you so much for coming on and wishing you and the wifey all the best in the world and have a happy holiday.
Thank you. You as well, man. And to your queen, the same thing.
I'll pass that on. She actually has a earbud in, so she heard that. She says heart to you.
Appreciate it.
Yo.